What's up, Ninja Clan? I'm back. It's Lupine Fiasco. We've got FaB gameplay. We've got some variety. It's Levia. Been a while since we played against her. The Levias are getting better, in my opinion. This ended up being a really close game. Really excited to walk through some of these decisions, especially getting towards the end. We win the die roll. I believe putting Levia on the play is correct, though I'm not sure. A lot of her more powerful cards rely on having cards in the graveyard to banish. So putting her on the play means that she can't use a lot of those cards, means that she will often just arsenal past the turn. What I don't know is if we go first, I believe our correct line is to also arsenal pass. The advantage of doing that is we set up a 5-card hand. Levia still has the same issue of not having graveyard to fuel her big attacks, and we get to swing in with a 5-card hand rather than a 4-card hand. Barring any kind of Blood Rush, Art of War shenanigans that she just drew into on her turn in her opening hand. So what I'm either way kind of gets us to the same point. I'm not sure what the best option here is, but we've chosen to go first. This is a pretty standard hand here. We are going to look to save the Flame Call Awakening. We could play out this entire hand, even arsenal a Phoenix Flame if we wanted to, but there's no reason to really go ham here. We're not looking to Pouncing Links, and we do want to save the Flame Call in case we draw into a blue and an Art of War. It's really the way that we go off generally with this deck. Our path to victory here against Levia is going to be setting up a big double finisher turn to put her past the point of flipping to Blasphemet. Levia's strategy here, her path to victory, is to set up a banish zone of 3 to 4 cards, even 4 to 5 if the game goes long enough, so that she can flip into Blasphemet, or Levia consumed by Blasphemet, and essentially play out the last 4 or 5 turns of the game with a 5-card hand. The cards that she's drawing, plus 1 additional card from her banish zone that she now gets to play. So it's really important for us that we push her past 13 at some point. Blasphemet consumed reads that Levia, the blood debt must take Levia to 13 damage. If Levia starts her end step at 13 damage, she cannot go Blasphemet consumed. We're going to let Levia undo here. Having just seen what she's drawing from the Art of War, I'm a little, alright, fine. But we're going to give her the benefit of the doubt that the blue she banished to her Art of War is actually something that she is intending to keep so that she can use it for pitch. But in an in-person event, if my opponent pitches to Art of War, banishes a card, draws 2 cards, then says, wait, do you mind if I take that back? We're going to say that's going to be a big no from us. Rolls the 6 from the Scab Skins and follows that up with a really underwhelming turn. Romp for 6, Claw for 3 is not what they want to be seeing here. This feels like the sort of hand the Art of War that's intended to fix the hand and really just doesn't get there. It's to our benefit, we're happy to see it. We have our Flame Call in Arsenal. Not really looking to play it here. We don't have the Art of War. We don't have a finisher in hand that could potentially set up something like a Lava Burst Salt the Wound. Just going to send some damage and see what happens. We get to Rising Resentment, Emberblade, Phoenix Flame, play a second Phoenix Flame, play a Ravenous Rabble. It isn't going to be a big damage turn from us, but it won't be a small damage turn either. We're still pushing, what is that? 3, 4, 7, 11 damage if the Ravenous flips a red. 4-card 11 is underrate, but is still fine. Didn't forget to touch on Levia's choice of equipment at the start of the game. Grasp of Darkness rather than Gambler's Gloves. Gives the impression that Levia does not intend to roll scab skins very often, probably to their credit. Levia rolling a 1 at the worst time is game losing. Grasp notably can fail to stop the Shuko trigger. If your local Levia is not aware of this interaction, you can catch them with it. Shuko damage, the attack with the Shuko trigger cannot be prevented by effects that prevent damage, such as Grasp of Darkness. So if you Phoenix Flame for 2, it has the Shuko trigger. Your Levia attempts to prevent that damage with Grasp of Darkness. You can let them use the Grasp. The Grasp does. That is a legal move that doesn't work. More notably than Grasp is Crown of Providence rather than FaB. I don't know what that says about what Levia is trying to do. I know for our part that is much better for us. FaB is a very good piece of equipment. Can absolutely shut down a big combo turn on our side of the table. Trying to set up a double finisher. If it can banish our finisher, then it's really, really bad for us. So seeing Crown here is really, really good for us. Really happy to see that, honestly. Excuse the pauses here. My cat is very excited to run in and out of the office, and I have to open and close the door. Let's take a look at this hand. We have our Flamecall Awakening in Arsenal. We have our Levia sitting at 23, 3 Blood Debt in Banish, still with most equipment available, so we're probably not looking for a big salt here, but we do have a few options of how we want to play out this hand. The salt can pay for Mounting Anger and Flamecall Awakening. Salt can also be the first of 2 finishers that we want to throw out in a turn. So we have a couple of options of how we want to play out this hand. If we use Salt the Moon for pitch value, this is, how much damage are we doing this turn? 4, 7, 11, 14, 15 from the Phoenix Flame, 17 from the second Phoenix Flame. If any of those hit and we really wanted to push it, we could grab a Lava Burst for 5. Notably, this deck list only has 1 copy of Salt the Wound, so we cannot grab a second Salt based on how many hits have landed. That is a total of, I lost count, 7, 11, 14, 17, 22 damage. 22 damage, of which we need 10 to hit. So Levia has to block more than 12, has to block a total of 13. 2, 8, 9, 11, 14. Damage can be blocked or prevented by using the equipment suite plus a card from hand. We then have an arsenal, we open ourselves up to a 4-card crackback, and then Consumed happens. So I'm not super interested in really trying to go ham this turn. I'm more interested in pushing a little more damage, arsenaling this Salt the Wound, and trying for a bigger damage churn on our next turn. We still have a healthy 19-point life total. We have Furnace and Shuko that we can block with. So if we're not going to pitch Salt the Wound, let's think about how we are going to sequence this turn. We can attack with Rising Resentment. We can follow that with Blaze Headlong, pitch Mounting Anger to play a Flame Call, which finds a Phoenix Flame. Attack with a Phoenix Flame, activate FaB, pitch the second Phoenix Flame that we pick up to our Furnace and come in with Emberblade. That is a total of 3, 7, 10, 11, 14 damage, and we Arsenal Assault the Wound. It's pretty good. If we look at playing the Mounting Anger, pitching Rising Resentment, then likely using Blaze Headlong to pitch to Furnace, that is 4, 7, 11, 4, 7, 8, 11 damage if we then pick up a Phoenix Flame and pitch it to the Emberblade. So doing that now, the better line is Resentment, Blaze, pitch Mounting to Flame Call. Based on where my cursor is hovering, I don't know if I see that line, but that is the optimal line here. We push 14 damage. Levia still does need to block some of that. Needs to block 5 of that damage. So perhaps giving us Crown and a card from hand, maybe giving us 2 cards from hand, maybe a card from hand and Grasp. We're going to get a card from hand, and we're going to get Equipment so that Levia can stay above 13. And we get to Arsenal Assault the Wound, setting up for a 5-card hand with a potential bonus finisher at the end of that. And we do have the option here to send Salt, Snap, Mask. I mean, we're threatening 14 damage. We could certainly go bigger than that. I'm still just concerned that I will not be able to get the damage through. Levia still has Husk, still has 4 cards in hand that she can block with. And stripping cards from her hand is not something that I'm really excited about doing. Levia, even the Claws, Blood Rush, Art of War versions. So we are going for it. Interesting. So even these big versions can play a mid-rangey game plan, a mid-rangey style. They can block with 2 cards from hand and still send a 2-card 8 with something like Swing Big. So this isn't huge. This isn't something like a Briar or a FaB where a 3-card hand is so much worse than a 5-card hand. Forgot that I went for the Lava Burst here. I'm a little surprised to see it, but we're going to put some pressure on our Levia. She is at 16. She cannot take an extra 3 damage, and we are going to get cards out of her hand. Here, Phoenix Flame comes in for 1, gets the Scab Skins. I believe you are about to see me make a mistake that I want to discuss. We do make a mistake. So we play the Phoenix Flame. What we should have done here is pitch the Phoenix Flame to our Furnace. We have a Mounting Anger in pitch already, so we would get 2 resources. We get to send Emberblade for 3. And then Lava Burst for 6. So, as it is, we'll be sending Phoenix Flame Lava Burst for a total of 7 damage. But if we had pitched Phoenix Flame to Furnace, Emberblade, Shuko, Lava Burst is 9 damage. So we are leaving 2 damage on the table here, which is pretty significant. This Phoenix Flame coming for 2. It cannot be grasped, but it can be blocked with Crown, which would be a clean block, which prevents some of the damage that Assault the Wound would deal. Emberblade would get a card out of hand, which again, I'm more interested in doing. So this is a mistake. Putting the Phoenix into pitch also puts it back into the deck. We have now drawn our 3 Phoenix Flames. They are all in our graveyard, but we have not drawn all of our Flame Call Awakenings. If you have more Flame Calls in your deck, you really want to have Phoenix Flames in your deck as well, especially when you know those Phoenix Flames are on the bottom of your deck because you pitched them rather than strewn randomly throughout your deck. So we get 2 blocks from our Levia here to stop the Lava Burst, which takes the Phoenix Flame, goes to 14. If this Phoenix Flame was an Emberblade, came in for 3, we can imagine that we would have gotten one of these cards on defense. Levia is at 16. Now we send Lava Burst for 6. Potentially this gets Husk. Snap is on the table. Salt comes in for 4. Still not enough, but it does get the Husk. But as I'm saying, this was a mistake. Not pitching to Furnace. So keeping that in mind as you are playing in your games, if you have the Flame Calls, especially if you want to put Phoenix Flames back into your deck, think about how you can get those into your pitch zone, and if you didn't have a blue for the turn, if you had to pitch a red to make your turn work, pitching the Phoenix Flame to Furnace is a really, really great way to generate those resources. It's almost belittle. What I want to talk about here this turn cycle is choosing not to snap the Salt the Wound, not snap the Lava Burst to play the Salt the Wound. That gets Carrion Husk from our Levia. It does not push the damage we need. So where we made a mistake in not using the Emberblade, maybe we could have pushed a little more damage such that Salt is now a real threat. It's important to constantly evaluate your game state, decide when the plan that you are halfway towards committing is no longer viable. So in our case, Lava Burst, Snapdragon, Salt the Wound is not going to push Levia over to 13 damage or less. So we can back out. We can just arsenal the Salt the Wound, save our Snapdragons, and try again on the next turn. And we're rewarded for that with an Art of War and 2 blues. Yes, Levia went consumed. Yes, Levia has, I believe, 4 cards, maybe 3. It might just be 3 attacks and banished. So she'll have 3 turns of a 5-card hand. She still has Husk. She's in a good spot, but we're in a good spot too. We have our Salt the Wound here. We just drew a Command and Conquer. This turn is going to depend a lot on how Levia blocks with Crown. We're pushing a lot of damage, don't get me wrong. Ronin for 4, Emberblade for 3, Phoenix Flame for 2, Salt for some amount of damage based on what Levia didn't block, and then Command and Conquer for 7 is a big damage turn. On our side of the board, Command and Conquer does present some arsenal disruption. And even if it doesn't, even if Levia crowns away this arsenal, it's still 7. We're putting Levia very close to being dead. But being able to destroy her arsenal on top of that would be pretty sweet. Pick up our Phoenix Flame. We see that we have 3 in the graveyard. If you are playing 3 Phoenix Flames in your deck, I talked about the importance of pitching them or bottoming them with Enlightened Strike to keep a Phoenix Flame in your deck for more Flame Call Awakenings. If you can, you really do want to keep 2 Phoenixes in your graveyard. This helps with Rise from the Ashes. See Levia blocks with Crown, does not crown away the arsenal. That's really, really good for us. uses the Carrion Husk to block the Salt Wound, also very good for us, because now she does not have an easy way to block this Command and Conquer. Throws 6 block in front of it, realizes that she's going to lose her arsenal if this hits. It looks like her 2 cards in hand plus a card in banish. Not looking very good, so decides instead to block for 3, takes 4, goes down to 2, loses the arsenal, keeps a 4-card hand. We're at 13. Levia can very easily do 13 damage with a 4-card hand. We do have some armor to block with, but pretty good turn from us. Pushed 11 damage plus 17, 19, 22. It was a 22 damage turn, and we got an arsenal. So really seeing the payoff of not just throwing a Salt Wound that would have been husked. The husk did block our Salt Wound, but that opened the door for our Command and Conquer. Drawing up to a pretty good hand on our side of the table. We've got Levia at 2. We have a lot of 4-power attacks in our hand, 4-power plus. Levia with 4 attacks in her banish zone. So she has 4 turns of 5 intellect. We'll see how she can capitalize on that here. Coming in with blue Dread Screamer. With no resources floating, 1 card in hand, and having not discarded anything, the most we can expect Levia to come in with is Claw. Sorry, not Claw, because Consumed. This is a Graveling Growl for 7. We cannot take 7 damage. 7 puts us to 2. You never want to be below 3 against a Brute if you can help it. I don't know if this Levia is running Reckless Swing, but I do know that she could be. And if she blocks the Reckless Swing, gets the discard, we're at 2, we just lose. So we absolutely want to stay above 2, which means we are at a minimum blocking with Furnace, which puts us to 3. There is a chance that Levia draws 2 Reckless Swings, 2 6-power attacks, plays Reckless Swing, does not discard the other one, and then we lose because we took 4 damage. So instead, we're going to block with Shuko as well. We'll block 3. This puts us to 5, keeps us out of Reckless range with a 4-card hand. This 4-card hand is pretty straightforward. Mounting Anger for 4, Ember Blade for 3. We can E-Strike for 7. You can see me hovering because I don't know what these triggers are. I believe that is Levia putting Blood Debt, milling herself based on her Blood Debt, but just trying to make sure that I can pass priority here and not lose my turn. Sending the Mounting for 4, Levia has no armor left. She has a Reckless Swing or a Sink Below. This is a clean block, and we have seen her pitch a Sink Below previously, so we know she has defense reactions. Choosing instead to block for 3, we banish our Enlightened Strike. We'll now come in for 8, so we send our Ember Blade for 3. We get a Blood Rush block. This is a cute little thing I'm doing, speaking towards putting Phoenix Flames back in your deck. If we have to bottom our Snatch to Enlightened Strike anyway, you might as well pitch it to 5, pick up a Phoenix Flame, and bottom that. Keeps Flame Call Awakening alive in your deck. And that's the game. Would not call it an easy victory. We were close. I think if Levia had had a better Art of War Scab Skin turn, this game looks a lot bleaker for us. but overall we do get there. So you can see the value of changing your plans halfway through when you realize they're no longer going to work. Cutting your losses, we saved Salt Balloon and our Snapdragons, which paid off for the next turn. You also see the power of not being afraid to put Phoenix Stones back into your deck, both because of Flame Call value and also we left 2 damage on the table. By not pitching Phoenix, I'm not seeing that we could. Overall, I hope we learned something. I know I did playing this game. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Always happy to hear your thoughts on the games, your thoughts on the channel. Otherwise, hope you all have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday for some more gameplay. Take care.